welcome to England 1,000 times.
Thank you, Sir Peter. And in faith, I'm glad to find you well, believe me.
Ah, my dear friend. 'Tis a long time since we met. 15?
16.
16 years, I fear, and many a cross accident in the time.
Aye, I've had my share. But what? I find you are married, Amy, old boy? Well, it can't be helped. And so, I wish you joy with all my heart.
Thank you, Sir Oliver, thank you. Yes, I've entered into the happy state, but we won't talk of that now.
True, Sir Peter. Old friends should not begin on grievances at first meeting. No. Well, let's drink a toast.
A toast?
To your wife, to Lady Teazle.
Lady Teazle.
Lady Teazle.
So, one of me nephews is a wild rogue, eh?
Wild? Ah, my dear friend, I grieve for your disappointment there. Charles is a lost young man indeed. But his brother will make you amends. Everybody in the world speaks well of Joseph.
I'm sorry to hear it. Everybody speaks well of him, cha.
Well, do you blame him for not making enemies?
Yes, if he has merit enough to deserve them.
Well, you'll be convinced when you know him.
Well, before I form a judgment of them, I intend personally to make a trial of their hearts.
And Sir Peter shall own for once he's been mistaken.
Me life on Joseph's honor.
My friend Rowley and I have devised a plan that will perfectly suit the purpose. I must make ready. Rowley, let Sir Peter into our secret.
But hold, Sir Oliver.
I shall return directly.
Sir Peter, you should imagine first that there is a certain relative of the Surfaces, a Mr. Stanley of Dublin.
Is there?
No, but you must imagine it so. A minor relative, say, on the mother's side. Now, this Mr. Stanley of Dublin has lately been bankrupt by a series of undeserved misfortunes.
Poor fellow.
Remind yourself he is but an invention of Sir Oliver's fancy and holds your sympathy. I have forged 2 letters from our Mr. Stanley begging help both of Joseph and of Charles.
Forged letters?
Sir Oliver would have it so.
Poor Noll. He's been too long with the natives. People here at home are not to be duped by such clumsy deceits.
No, Sir Peter? Well, Charles and Joseph have expressed the desire to meet Mr. Stanley.
Mr. Stanley?
Of Dublin.
Ah, yes, poor fellow.
He doesn't exist.
Oh, of course not. But then how are they to meet him?
We have forged the hand already, and here follows the rest of the anatomy.
And thus I will be able to make my own judgment of their worth.
Well, make the trial if you please. Joseph's character will stand the test, and as for
there is a gentleman here who says he knows Sir Oliver is here and insists on seeing him directly.
But how the devil did he know I was come?
I denied it, sir, I assure you.
What's the gentleman's name?
It is a Mr. Moses, I believe.
Moses?
Why, to be sure, this Sir Oliver is a moneylender who has done everything he can to assist Charles. More than a year ago, he advanced him considerable sums of money, but being unsuccessful in recovering the loans, he has lately threatened to make the whole affair public.
Indeed.
It was to prevent the scandal that I let him know of your arrival, Sir Oliver, under pain of the strictest secrecy. Allow me to talk with him.
Why, hold, Rowley. This Moses of yours has come at a most favorable time. Let him enter. Now, Sir Oliver, you will hear the truth. But, Sir Peter, I am Mr. Moses to walk in.
You told me nothing of this, Master Rowley.
He would have waited until he had tricked you into favoring Charles.
Upon my word.
Ah, Mr. Moses, walk in. This is Sir Oliver.
Sir Oliver, your most obedient and thankful servant.
Pray, sit down, Master Moses.
Why, thank you.
Now, I understand you have lately had dealings with me nephew Charles.
I have indeed, Sir Oliver. But he was ruined before he came to me for assistance.
That was unlucky, truly. So he is now some thousands in your debt?
Why, yes, Sir Oliver. But learning from Master Rowley that you would answer for his little extravagances.
I should not be too sure of that.
So you see, Rowley, you're discovered.
But you say you have done all in your power for him, honest Moses?
Oh, yes, Sir Oliver, I've done all in my power to help him raise further sums with which to repay me. Why, this very day, I'm to bring him a gentleman from the city who doesn't know him and will therefore advance him some money.
What? One Charles has never had money from before?
Yes, a Mr. Premium.
Premium?
Of Crouch Friars. Formerly a broker.
Egad, Sir Oliver, a thought has struck me. Charles, you say, doesn't know Mr. Premium?
Not at all.
Now then, Sir Oliver, Go with my friend Moses and represent Mr. Premium. And then I'll answer for it you'll see your nephew in all his glory.
Well, that would be taking Charles rather at a disadvantage, to be sure.
Egad, I like this idea better than the other. And I may visit Joseph afterwards as poor old Stanley.
Aye, to be sure. Now, Moses, you understand the scheme and can arrange it?
It will be in your interest to make it possible.
Then you may depend on me. But it is near the time I was to have gone.
I'll accompany you as soon as you please, Moses. But hold, I have forgot one thing. How must I talk? There's certainly some terms of money lending I ought to know.
Oh, there's not much to learn. The great point is to be exorbitant enough in your demands. Eh, Moses?
Yes, that's a very great point.
I'll answer for it. I'll not be lacking in that. I'll ask him 8 or 10% on the loan at least.
If you ask no more than that, you'll be discovered immediately.
Hey, what the plague? How much then?
If he appears not very anxious for the loan, you should require only 40 or 50%.
40?
But if you find him in great distress, you may ask double.
A good, honest trade you're learning, Sir Oliver.
Truly, I think so, and not unprofitable.
But remember, you have the monies yourself, but are forced to borrow them of a friend.
Oh, I borrow of a friend, do I?
Yes, and your friend is an unconscionable dog. But you can't help it.
My friend is an unconscionable dog, is he?
Yes, and he hasn't the monies himself, but is forced to sell stock at a great loss.
He is forced to sell stock, is he? At a great loss, is he? That's very kind of him.
Defense, Sir Oliver, you'll soon be master of the trade.
I, Moses, shall instruct me further as we go together.
So, now I think Sir Oliver will be convinced. You are partial, Rowley. You would have prepared Charles for the other plot.
No, upon my word, Sir Peter.
Pshaw.
Well, I'm appointed to meet one Mr. Snake regarding the letter you lent me, and shall soon, I think, be able to remove some of your prejudices against Charles.
Well, go find this snake. I should be glad to be convinced my suspicions of Lady Teasle and Charles were unjust. I've never yet opened my mind on this subject to my friend Joseph. I must do it. He'll give me his opinion sincerely. So, child, were you at Lady Sneerwell's too?
I was, sir.
And was Mr. Surface of the company?
Mr. Joseph Surface?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Maria, do you not realize the more you converse with that amiable young man, what return his partiality for you deserves?
Indeed, Sir Peter, I can tell you now there is no man on earth I would not prefer to Joseph Surface.
So here's perverseness. No, no, Maria, 'tis Charles only whom you would prefer. 'Tis evident his vices and follies have won your heart. But take care, madam. You have never yet known what the authority of a guardian is. Don't compel me to inform you of it. Was ever man so crossed as I am? Everything conspiring to fret me. I had not been involved in matrimony a fortnight before her father, a hale and hearty man, died. On purpose, I believe, for the pleasure of plaguing me with the care of his daughter. But here comes me helpmate. She sounds in great good humor. Would I could tease her into loving me, though but a little.
Oh, Lord, Sir Peter, I hope you haven't been quarreling with Maria. It isn't using me well to be ill-humored when I am not by.
Ah, Lady Teasle, you might have the power to make me good-humored at all times.
I am sure I wish I had, for I want you to be in a charming, sweet temper at this moment. Do be good-humored now and let me have 200 pounds, will you?
200 pounds? What, ain't I to be in a good humor without paying for it? Oh, but speak to me thus, and in faith you shall have it.
Daphne was not so chaste while she was changing. La-da-da-dum, la-dee-da-da-da-dum.
And you should no longer reproach me with not giving you an independent settlement. For I mean shortly to surprise you.
Oh, Sir Peter! Lum-ba-dum-bum-ba-da-dee-da-da-dum, dee-da-da-dum, la-dee-da-da-da-dum.
But shall we always live thus, eh?
If you please.
Then let our future contest be who shall be most obliging?
Agreed. Oh, I assure you, Sir Peter, good nature becomes you. Well, you look now as you did before we were married. When you used to walk with me under the elms, remember? And tell me stories of what a gallant you were in your youth. And chuck me under the chin you would, and ask me if I thought I could love an old fellow who would deny me nothing. Now, didn't you?
Yes, yes. And you were as kind and attentive.
So I was, and would always take your part when my acquaintance used to abuse you and turn you into ridicule.
Indeed?
Oh, aye. When my cousin Sophie has called you a stiff, peevish old bachelor and laughed at me for thinking of marrying one who might be my father, I have always defended you and said I didn't think you so ugly by any means. And I dare say I thought you'd make a very good sort of husband.
And you prophesied right. And we shall certainly now be the happiest couple.
And never differ again.
No, never. Though at the same time, indeed, my dear Lady Teazle, you must watch your temper very narrowly. For in all our little quarrels, my dear, if you recollect, my love, you always began first.
I beg your pardon, my dear Sir Peter. Indeed, you always gave the provocation.
Now see, my angel, take care. Contradicting isn't the way to keep friends.
Then don't you begin it, my love.
There now, you are going on. You don't perceive, my life, that you are doing just the very thing which you know always makes me angry.
You know, if you will be angry without any reason.
There now, who begins first?
Why, you, to be sure. I said nothing. But there's no bearing your temper.
No, madam, the fault's in your own temper.
You're just what my cousin Sophie said you'd be.
Your cousin Sophie is a forward, impertinent gypsy.
You are a great bear, I am sure, to abuse my relations.
Now, may all the plagues of marriage be doubled on me if I ever try to be friends with you any more.
So much the better.
'Tis evident you never cared a pin for me. I was a madman to marry you. A pert, rural coquette that had refused half the honest squires in the neighborhood.
And I am sure I was a fool to marry you. An old, dangling bachelor who was single at 50 only because he could never meet with anybody who would have him.
Aye, madam, but you were pleased enough to listen to me. You never had such an offer before.
Oh, no, didn't I refuse Sir Twivy Tarrier? Who everybody said would have been a better match, for his estate is just as good as yours. And he has broke his neck since we've been married.
I've done with you, madam. You're an unfeeling, ungrateful... But there's an end of everything. I believe you capable of anything that's bad. Yes, madam, I now believe the reports about you and Charles, madam.
What?
Yes, madam. You and Charles are not without grounds.
Take care, Sir Peter. You'd better not insinuate any such thing. I'll not be suspected without cause, I promise you.
Very well, madam. Very well. A separate maintenance as soon as you please. Yes, madam, or a divorce. I'll make an example of myself for the benefit of all old bachelors. Let us separate, madam.
Agreed. Agreed. And now, my dear Sir Peter, we are of a mind once more. We may be the happiest couple and never differ again. Remember. Oh, but you're going to be in a passion, I see, and I shall only interrupt you, so bye-bye.
Plagues and tortures, can't I make her angry neither? Go on, the miserablest fella. But I'll not bear her presuming to keep her temper. No, she may break me heart, but she shan't keep her temper. Lady Teazle! Lady Teazle!
Charles, 'tis not true.
For heaven, 'tis true. There's the great degeneracy of the age.
Aye.
Many of our acquaintance have taste, spirit, and politeness, but plague on't, they won't drink.
It is so indeed, Charles. They give in to all the substantial luxuries of the table and abstain from nothing but wine and wit.
Certainly, society suffers by it intolerably.
But what are they to do who love gambling more than wine?
What? You wouldn't train a horse for the races and keep him from corn. And then, my friends, what man can pretend to believe in love who is an abjurer of wine? 'Tis a test by which a lover knows his own heart. Fill a dozen bumpers to a dozen beauties, and she that floats at top is the maid that has bewitched you.
Now then, Charles, be honest and give us a toast to your real favorite. Who is she?
Come on, Charles.
Come on, Charles.
Then bumpers, you rogues, bumpers! Maria.
Maria who?
Oh, damn the surname. Just too formal.
Charles.
Sir Harry Bumper, give us your toast. And beware, we must have beauty superlative.
Gad, Charles, how can I choose?
Oh, they never study, Sir Harry. We'll stand to your toast though your mistress should lack an eye. Perhaps you have a song to excuse you?
Gad, so I have. And I'll give you a song instead of a lady. Here's to the maiden of bashful 15. Here's to the widow of 15.
Any age.
Here's to the flaunting, extravagant queen. And here's to the housewife that's thrifty. Let the toast pass, drink to the last. A warrant to prove and excuse. For the glass, for the glass, for the glass.
Charles, I've brought some wenches.
Here's to the maid with a bosom of snow, to her that's brown as a berry. Here's to the wife with a face full of woe, and now for the damsel that's merry. Let the toast pass, drink to the last.
I am to procure some of our friend, but then he's an unconscionable dog.
Is Mr. Charles Surfaced at home?
Moses.
I brought the gentleman as I promised.
Ah, yes, he was expecting you an hour ago. What is the gentleman's name? Mr. Moses, what is my name? Mr. Premium. Oh, Mr. Premium.
Premium? If you wait here a moment, I'll try whether the master...
I pray, what may be your name?
Trip, sir. Trip. My name is Trip, at your service.
Well then, Mr. Trip, begone about your business. To judge by the servants, one wouldn't believe the master was ruined. But what? Sure, this was my brother's house.
Yes, Mr. Charles bought it of Mr. Joseph, with the furniture, paintings, etc., just as the old gentleman left it. Sir Peter felt it a great piece of extravagance in him.
Well, to my mind, Joseph's heartlessness in selling it to him was more reprehensible by half. Egad, this sounds like a temple of dissipation indeed.
Let the toast pass, drink to the last. I warrant you prove and excuse.
Friends, you must excuse me a little. Careless.
Nay, pretty Charles, is this your peerless beauty who has dropped in the check?
All famed as a pair of moneylenders.
Oh, damn it, let's have them in.
By all means.
Yes, bring all the money lenders. Let us give them some generous burgundy, and perhaps they'll prove conscientious.
So fill every bumper right up to the brim, and let us toast them together.
So honest Moses. Welcome, Mr. Premium. Well, that's the gentleman's name, isn't it, Moses?
Yes, sir.
Set chairs, Trip. Sit down, Mr. Premium. Sit down, Moses. Come, Mr. Premium. I'll give you a sentiment. Here's success to usury.
Success to usury.
Right, Moses, for usury is prudence and industry and deserves to succeed. Mr. Premium?
Then here's all the success it deserves.
This is mutiny.
Mr. Premium, you have demurred to the toast and must drink it in a pint bumper.
Consider, Mr. Premium is a gentleman.
Gentlemen.
And therefore loves good wine. I'll see justice done to the last drop of my bottle.
Nay, pray, gentlemen, I did not expect this, you said. Mr. Charles.
No, hang it, careless, you shan't. Mr. Premium's a stranger.
I wish I was well out of this company.
Plague on them then. If they won't drink, I'll not stay with them. No! I'm Harry the Dice. Charles, you'll join us when you've finished your business with these gentlemen.
I will.
Sir, this is Mr. Premium, a gentleman of the utmost secrecy and honor. Mr. Premium, this is...
Sir, my friend Moses is a very honest fellow, but a little slow at expression. He'll be an hour giving us our titles. Mr. Premium, the plain state of the matter is this. I'm an extravagant young fella who wants money to borrow. You I take to be a prudent old fella who's got money to lend. I'm blockhead enough to give you 50% sooner than not have it, and you, I presume, are rogue enough to take 100 if you can get it. Now, sir, you see we're acquainted at once and may proceed to business without further ceremony.
Exceeding frank upon me word. I see, sir, you are not a man of many compliments.
No. Plain dealing in business I always think best.
Sir, I like you the better for it. However, you are mistaken in one thing.
No money.
I have no money to lend, but I believe I could procure some of a friend, but then he's an unconscionable dog, isn't he, Moses? And must sell stock to accommodate you.
But these are trifles, Mr. Premium. What? I know that money isn't to be bought without paying for it.
Well, but what security could you give? You have no land, I suppose.
Not a molehill nor a twig, but what's in flower pots in the window. But I pray, Mr. Premium, are you acquainted at all with any of my connections?
Why, to say truth, I am.
Why, then you must know I have a devilish rich uncle in the East Indies, Sir Oliver Surface, from whom I have the greatest expectations.
That you have a wealthy uncle, I have heard. But how your expectations will turn out is more, I believe, than you can...
Oh, no, there can be no doubt. To tell me I'm a prodigious favorite and that he talks of leaving me everything.
Indeed! This is the first I've heard of it.
Oh, yes, it's just so. Moses knows 'tis true, don't you, Moses?
Yes, I'll swear to it.
Egad, they'll persuade me presently I'm back in India.
Now, I propose, Mr. Premium, if it's agreeable to you, a bond on Sir Oliver's life. Though at the same time, the old fellow's been so liberal to me that I should be very sorry to hear anything had happened to him.
No more than I should, I assure you.
Eh?
Though I've heard he's as hale and healthy as any man of his years in Christendom.
Oh, there again, you're misinformed. Oh, no, the climate has hurt him considerably. Poor Uncle Oliver. Yes, he breaks apace, I'm told, and is so much altered lately that his nearest relatives don't know him.
No? So much altered his relatives don't know him? That's droll, Egad.
You're glad to hear that, Mr. Premium?
No, I am not.
Oh, yes, you are. He knows that improves his chance.
But as I understand, you want a few hundreds immediately. Is there nothing you could dispose of?
How do you mean?
Well, for instance, now, I have heard that your father left behind him a great quantity of massy old silver plate.
Oh, love, that's gone long ago. Moses can tell you how better than I can.
Good lack, all the family racing cups and corporation prizes. Then it is also supposed that his library is one of the most valuable and complete
Yes, so it was. But for my part, I've always been of a communicative disposition, so I felt it a shame to keep so much knowledge to myself.
Mercy on me, learning that it run in the family like an heirloom. So, nothing of the family property left, I suppose.
Not much indeed. Unless you've a mind to the family pictures. I've got a horde of ancestors hereabouts, and if you've a taste for old paintings, egad, you shall have 'em a bargain.
Hey, and the devil's sure you wouldn't sell your forefathers, would you?
Every man of 'em to the best bidder.
What? Your great-uncles and aunts?
And the great-grandfathers and grandmothers, too.
Now I give him up. What the plague? Have you no bowels for your own kindred? Aunt's life!
But don't be angry, Mr. Premium. What need you care if you get your money's worth?
Oh, I'll never forgive him for this, never.
Mr. Premium.
Well, I'll be the purchaser.
Careless!
I think I can dispose of the family.
Again, friends, we're going to have a sale. Here's Mr. Premium will buy all my ancestors. Careless, egad, you shall be auctioneer. Moses, you shall be appraiser. Gad's life, Mr. Premium, you don't seem to like the business.
Oh, yes, I do, vastly. I think it a rare joke to sell one's family by auction. The profligates.
Here they are, gentlemen, here they are. The family of the Surfacers. Up to the conquest.
And in my opinion, a goodly collection.
Oh, aye, these are done in the true spirit of portrait painting. No volunteer grace of expression. All stiff and awkward as the originals and like nothing in human nature besides.
We shall never see such figures of men again.
I hope not.
What parchment have we here? Richard, heir to Thomas.
Oh, that's our family tree in full. But come, get your pulpit, Mr. Auctioneer.
But Charles, I have ne'er a hammer. And what's an auctioneer without his hammer?
Gad, that's true.
Huh?
Careless, you shall have no common bit of mahogany.
Huh?
Here's the family tree for you, you rogue. This shall be your hammer. And now, you may knock down my ancestors with their own pedigree.
What an unnatural rogue, an ex post facto parasite.
Come begin! A-going!
Here's my great-uncle, Sir Richard Raveline. A marvelous good general in his day, I assure you. He fought in all the Duke of Marlborough's wars. And got that cut over his eye at the Battle of Malplaquet. Now, what say, Mr. Premium? Look at him. There's a hero for you. What do you bid?
Mr. Premium would have you speak.
Why, then, you shall have him for... 10 pounds.
Oh, 13 pounds.
15, 18, 20.
20 pounds?
I'm sure that's not too dear for a staff officer.
A-going!
Heaven deliver me, his famous Uncle Richard for 20 pounds. Very well, I'll take him at that.
Knock down me Uncle Richard! Here now is a maiden sister of his, my great Aunt Deborah. And a very formidable likeness. There she is, you see, a shepherdess feeding her flock. You shall have her for £5.10.
Oh, £7.10.
£9.10.
£11.10.
£12.10.
12 pounds 10?
The sheep are worth the money.
A-going!
Oh, poor Deborah, a woman who set such a value on herself. £12.10. She's mine.
Knock down me Aunt Deborah! Here now are two brothers of hers, William and Walter Blunt, both members of Parliament. And it was very extraordinary. I believe this is the first time they were ever bought and sold.
It's very extraordinary indeed. Well, I'll take them at your own price for the honor of Parliament.
You will?
Well said, Mr. Premium. I'll knock him down at 40.
No.
40!
Oh, but plague on, we should be all day retailing in this manner. Do let us deal wholesale. What say you, Mr. Premium? Give me £300 for the family in a lump.
Aye, that'll be the best way.
Well, anything to accommodate you, they're mine.
A-going!
One portrait I wish to ask about.
What? This ill-looking fellow in the red coat?
Yes, though I don't think him so ill-looking by any means.
That? Oh, that's me Uncle Oliver. It was done before he went to India.
Your Uncle Oliver? God, Charles, then you'll never be friends. Now, that's as sterner-looking rogue as ever I've seen. An unforgiving eye, and a damned disinheriting countenance. An inveterate knave, depend on it. Don't you think so, Mr. Premium?
Upon my soul, sir, I do not. I think it's as honest a looking face as any in the room, dead or alive. But I suppose your Uncle Oliver goes with the rest of the lumber.
No, hang it. I'll not part with poor Noll. The old fellow's been very good to me. And egad, I'll keep his picture while I have a room to put it in.
The rogue's me nephew after all. But, sir, I have somehow taken a fancy to that picture.
Well, I'm sorry for it, for you certainly shall not have it. Oons, haven't you got enough of them?
I forgive him everything. But, sir, when I take a whim in my head, I don't value money. I'll give you as much for that as for all the rest.
Don't tease me, Master Broker. I tell you I'll not part with it, and there's an end on't.
How like his father the dog is. I did not perceive it before, but I think I never saw such a resemblance. Well, sir, here is a draft for your sum.
Why, 'tis for £800.
You will not let Sir Oliver go?
Zoons, no. I tell you once more.
Then never mind the difference. We'll balance another time. But give me your hand on the bargain. You are an honest fellow, Charles. Oh, I beg pardon, sir, for being so free. Come, Moses.
Gad, here's a whimsical old fella. But harky, Premium, you'll prepare lodgings for these gentlemen.
Yes, I'll send for them in a day or two. For all but Oliver?
Aye, all but the honest nabob.
You're fixed on that?
Peremptorily.
Good day!
Good day!
A dear, extravagant rogue. Now let me hear who dares call him profligate.
This is the oddest genius of the sort I ever saw.
He's the prince of brokers, I think. Oh, there he is, talking to Rolly.
What?
Friends, leave us a little. Rolly's come to give me another one of his parental lectures.
Well, but don't let him persuade you to squander any of that money on old musty debts or any such nonsense. For tradesmen, Charles, are the most exorbitant fellows.
Very true, and paying them is only encouraging them.
Nothing else.
Aye, aye, never fear. Let me see.